What's up, everybody? This is Talkin All That Kazz, and I am DJ Kazzeo. I want to thank you for checking out this particular episode of Talkin All That Kazz. On this particular episode, I got another great interview that I conducted here on my radio show at 90.9 FM KHTC in Salinas, California. But before we get going with that, I want you to go to this address, djkazzeo.com, and connect with me on social media. Whether it's on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, or even if you go and subscribe to my Mixcloud channel, you can hear all my radio shows that I do in their entirety, music, commentary, and interviews. But this right here, Talkin All That Kazz, this is for just the interviews, okay? I want to thank everybody who checked out the first round of interviews that I put up. Now we're on to the second round. This particular round, I'm going to focus on 2019, but I'm going to sprinkle it in with some more current stuff too. So you never know what you're going to get. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Talkin All That Kazz with me, DJ Kazzeo.
Yes, that's right. It's 90.9 FM KHTC right here in Salinas, Santa Cruz, and Monterey. 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. Streaming live everywhere on the planet at WednesdayRec.com. Yours truly, Kazzeo, right here. You know the deal. Club Rec, the best freestyle show on the entire West Coast. The only freestyle show on the entire West Coast. Happens every single week, every single Thursday night. And right off the bat, I am starting it. I got a special guest joining me on the line. I don't know how else to say it except a mover, a shaker, a no-nonsense taker. She goes by the name of Lisette Melendez. Lisette, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, my friend? How is everything back east? I hear it's pretty hot out there this past week.
Actually, we had a heat wave, but today is pretty clear. It's still a little warm, hot, but it's not as humid. So we can do without the humidity, but it's pretty nice.
That's good. I mean, at least you guys don't have the earthquake thing like we have out here on the west.
Oh, man, please. You know, I was stuck one year. I think it was 93. I was caught in a 6.7.
Uh-huh.
And I was in L.A., and I was in the Mondrian Hotel on the 47th floor. And my dancers, we were all in different floors. We were all on different floors. My road manager was in, like, the 30th floor. I was on the 47th. My other, so we were all scattered. And everything turned black. All the car alarms went off. Drawers were flying. The whole building went black, completely black. So we all had to walk down the steps. I couldn't see who was who. But it was the scariest time. I mean, I can't even imagine having to go through that, and even the aftershocks were just no joke. So you humble yourself when you're at Mother Nature's mercy.
Well, we're trying to make ourselves an island out here. We want to become an island like Hawaii. I think that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, the biggest one I ever was in was a 7.1, and that was not very fun.
Oh my goodness, you can't even explain it until you go through it.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, you're in the dark. Like, it's not like now where you have a flashlight on your phone. You didn't have that back then. No,
we didn't have that back then, and no one did. So we really went down the steps, like on the 47th floor.
Uh-huh.
Every step I took was like, God, I prayed the whole time. And I'm a firm believer, though, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go.
Right.
And
right.
I fell out the window when I was 3 years old.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, the third floor tenement building in New York City. I was only 3, so I'm still here. I'm not right in the head, but I'm still here.
Nah, come on now. I mean, how does something like that happen? I mean, were your parents not watching you, or are you just?
Well, you know what it was back in the day, and especially in Spanish Harlem. I mean, we didn't really have window guards like that. Everybody was so nonchalant, carefree. And here goes this little girl that just decided to just run and crawl through a curtain. And, back then, she, they could have called BCW and it would have been a wrap for my mom.
Right,
but
right.
Nobody really checked her on that. So, it wasn't her fault entirely, but they could have been watching me a little closely. I don't know what happened. But, I'm still here, though. Thank God. There's a reason why I'm here.
Absolutely, absolutely. To share your talent with the world, the immense talent that it is. You've been making a lot of noise this past year with not just one, but you got another single about ready to come out, or it actually is out on digital platforms. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but I got a few leftover questions regarding the Ryze record. So if you'll indulge me, I'd like to get to those real quick before we move on to the big project that's coming out next.
Right.
So I have to I know in the mid 2000s or mid to later 2000s, you did a lot of touring with Angel and Little Susie. Were they ever considered to be part of the Ryze remix, or was it always just Judy, Lisa, and C-Bank?
Well, that Ryze remix came out of nowhere, to be honest, because even Ryze was something that it wasn't intended and it wasn't planned. All I knew was that I wanted to put out another record, but I wanted it to be with substance. I wanted it to have something to do with, because even with, all my songs were about love, and then I did Goody Goody, which was like, all you remember from that one video is the milk scene. So I didn't want to be remembered.
Guilty.
Yeah. So I you know what? There's more substance to this besides, the milk bath and all the stuff that I did back in the day. So let me try to do, or not even try. I just wanted to write something that meant something to many women and even men. I was never abused. That's my barking dog that decides to bark whenever my son gets home. But let me just go downstairs and I don't have to hear her. So I just stated, I said, I see a lot of the experience. I was never beat up. I was never, hit by a boyfriend or anything. Although I had a lunatic boyfriend, and mentally he abused me because he just said all the wrong things to me. He tried to belittle me. So I witnessed, I sensed, and I experienced that. And even as a little girl in school, I was bullied because I was this little Spanish girl, very skinny, with nothing hair, but I was a stick figure with hair. That's all I was. I had a lot of hair, and I remember being bullied because I was raised in a neighborhood that was predominantly black. And there's a Spanish girl that had one of her best friends was Lisette. She was black, and all my friends were all boys. So, and they were all black. So I that's the way I grew up. But I'm a Spanish little girl that people don't understand. Like, what's going on with that? So I was bullied as a little girl, in school. But it was, I overcame that, and as an adult, I experienced and I saw a lot of domestic violence, and it was okay back in the day, like it was acceptable. And I always scratch my head, like, why do you let a man just smack you around or push you around or belittle you? And I never understood that. And as I got older and I pursued my career, it always stayed in the back of my mind. And then when I started recording and it didn't go the way one particular person wanted it to go, and he was a DJ, he started bullying me again, So I felt like as an artist, no one should tell you what you should do and how you should do it. And as a woman as well, like I don't think women in this genre of freestyle, we don't really support each other the way we should. And I decided to take a stance and say, you know what, we have to unite, and together we're powerful, as opposed to us just doing everything individual and basically competing with each other. I never meant to come into this business to compete, because I was always different. If you look at my videos from the beginning, I was very tomboyish. Together Forever, I have a hat on. You see my performances, I have baseball caps, big jeans. I'm not really displaying the body, And then when it came out to my second album, that's when I did the milk bath scene. And I always try to show different dimensions. I think as an artist, you have to grow and show different sides. So long story short, so when I decided to put out another record, I wanted to show a different side of me, So I wanted to show the vulnerability and the experience that I saw through these eyes, which I witnessed, my family sometimes getting abused, and myself getting emotionally and mentally abused.
Right.
So when I wrote the record, I said, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to have the ladies and even guys get abused. Men, sometimes they're, cool with their women and they're a little soft with them. And then you have an alpha female that likes to be rough and she'll take it out on the guy and, mistreat him. I have boys. I have 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hate for them because they're not aggressive boys. And I would hate for for them to meet an alpha woman, and because they're not rough with them and they're tender men, that they're going to get physically abused or verbally abused by a woman that's an alpha. So I look at it as I'm trying to represent anyone that's ever been bullied, whether it's physical, mental, anyway. I would like to be the voice for that. So that's how that song came about. And I wasn't thinking about a remix, but I thought about it as the record was in the midst of doing what it was doing. I said, you know what if I get a couple of females to come in and show unity? And I reached out to a couple. Some people didn't have time, so they say. And I was very surprised when Lisa said, yes, that's my idol. When I looked at Lisa when I was 13, 14 years old, she inspired me. If it wasn't for Lisa, I don't think I would have pursued my career, because there weren't too many women that looked like her doing their thing. It was only Gloria Estefan at the time.
And Gloria Estefan wasn't really like, an urban genre artist.
Right. So I couldn't really relate to Gloria Estefan, but when Lisa came out, we went to the same high school. She was like 2 years older than me, so I was inspired, So when I did a lot of shows with her on the West Coast, and when I picked up the phone and I decided, I was very nervous to ask her to join me on this remix, and she showed up, I was beside myself. And this is why I always encourage men or women, everyone, never to assume that, the worst thing that anyone could do is tell you no, but
right.
Always ask. Don't assume that people are going to turn you down. And, and I went for it. And when I went to the studio, she was there before I got there. So I was humbled. I'm like, wow, this is a girl that I looked up to when I was a little peon, and she's here in the studio and I'm telling her how to record, so it's insane, the way everything works out and it pans out. And I did consider, and I reached out to different artists, but some of them, I'm not going to say their name. They couldn't, supposedly they were busy. And
right.
They didn't come through. And the ones that came through are on the record. And I'm very proud and thankful that they believed in the project enough to take out the time to come to the studio and do what they did with Ryze.
One of the things that some more so like hip-hop artists do to extend the life of various projects is that they go and they incorporate regional talent into remixes for a particular project they may have. Did you ever consider maybe adding some West Coast acts to a remix of it in order to extend the life of it?
I would love to. I mean, I'm always open. I'm always looking for talent. I'm always open to see if anyone has the time. I mean, but they also have to match my style as well. It can't be someone that's completely to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have to be, someone that blends with what I'm doing. But I'm always open to trying different things, and that's one of the things that I always get bored when I see people doing the same show over and over and over again, the same lineups over and over. I'm like, I get bored, and I'm just my worst enemy because sometimes I don't have the patience to sit there and baby a project before I want to move on to the next.
Right.
But
right.
with Ryze, it means a lot to me. So that's why I've nurtured the project, and I still talk about it. I still post my video over and over again because I think it's inspirational. Anyone could show cleavage. Anyone could show, twerk on video. They can do all that stuff. But does anyone have the time to actually talk about something with substance? Sometimes we don't have that time, and you see people that put out records now, it's all about, body image and all that. And sex sells. I'm not going to lie. I did it with Goody Goody. I did that before,
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to continue to, do what I can until I can't anymore. But eventually I want to just write, kick back, and nurture and be able to mentor another artist, and guide them the way I didn't have the guidance.
Well,
so my mind is always thinking.
Right. Well, I see the videos you post up. I know I can see the steam coming out the ears sometimes. There's so much thinking going on. But, before we move on to the next project, let's jump into the Ryze remix, get that some shine here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some more about your incorporation of your current stage show. I want to pick your brain about that a little bit, and also talk about the Listen record. So
yes,
we're gonna jump into it. This is Ryze, the Lisette Melendez, the remix, featuring Judy Torres, Lisa, and C-Bank. Keep it right here. We'll be back in a second with Miss Lisette Melendez.
Yeah.
That's right, man. Back in the place right here, 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. The home spot right here, 90.9 FM, KHDC here in Salinas, Santa Cruz, Monterey. Streaming everywhere on the planet, WednesdayRec.com. Hanging out, still enjoying a great conversation with my guest right now, Miss Lisette Melendez.
Yeah.
I wish I wish I had the voice where I could say it like Greg Nice. Lisette Melendez.
No, your voice is great. You have a nice, smooth, relaxed tone.
I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means the world.
No, I mean, you do. You really do. So be confident in what you have.
Absolutely. So, we were talking a little bit off the air there. We were talking about Ryze and the vinyl that you put out on it. A lot of people, just really only throw stuff out in digital forms now. Talk to me a little bit about the drive to put out the vinyl for it.
Well, the vinyl, I basically put it out for the fans and the DJs. It's more of a collector's item. I just wanted to give, the fans and DJs something with substance that they can keep and they can actually frame or just hold on to. Because right now music's changed so much. It's all about downloads. It's all about streaming. You don't really have anything in your hand anymore. Even CDs. I pressed some CDs. Some fans want CDs, till today. So I try to keep it a little bit old school. Although I know the mentality right now with everyone else, they're like want to stream. They don't want anything, sitting in their hands. They just want to keep everything light and moving. Mm-hmm. But that's the reason why I did the vinyl. I mean, I have a lot of DJs that are interested in purchasing, and I have fans that really want to collect, and they're interested. So it's work like anything else, Remember the Kazzeo back in the day?
Oh yeah.
I showed my son a Kazzeo. He was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, they used to have stacks of them at Sam Goody.
Yeah. So now music's changed so much. So I'm trying to keep the nostalgia going a little, and I think it's cool. Just to have, not everybody has a turntable, because I even have fans. They're like, "Girl, I don't even have a turntable," but they still buy it. Mm-hmm. Because even now with the Listen song, now we have a photo of both of us. So that's definitely a collector's item, because now both our signatures are on that. And even with Ryze, I'm trying to get. It's hard to get all the girls that did the remix to sign all at once, because they're all constantly busy in different towns and different states.
Right.
So I actually got Lisa to sign like 15 Ryze vinyl, and I'm gonna have Brenda sign as well. So I'm gonna have 15 vinyl with all the girls' signatures on. So that's definitely a collector's piece. I've been working a year to make that happen.
Okay, now you've got to let me know when that's ready, because I want at least one of those. I got to order at least one of those.
I will let you know for sure. I already have C-Bank, and I have Lisa on one, but then I have Judy on two other ones, because I had a show with her, and I grabbed a couple of vinyl and I had her sign. Mm-hmm. So it's been difficult, this whole project, because everybody's scattered, So my mission is to get everyone at least on 10 vinyl, or everybody's signature on one vinyl, on 10 of them.
Got
like,
it. I got
those are definitely going to be collected.
I got to get one of those. Talk to me about incorporating a DJ into your your stage show, because that's really not something that freestyle acts do.
I know, it's just I'm a tomboy at heart, and you don't have to be a tomboy at heart to have a DJ on stage. But growing up, I grew up in Spanish Harlem, going out to street jams and watching DJs in the street, just spin vinyl and have the crowd jumping. And I always wanted to learn how to DJ as a little girl, but I never really had the chops to really sit there and have someone teach me. Mm-hmm. So I was always intrigued, and I always say, if it's not, DJs are a very instrumental part of an artist's career and journey, because we need DJs to play our music, so the crowd and fans could hear our music. And I think DJs don't get the proper credit that they should get.
Never.
So for the past year, I really acknowledged all the DJs. I'm like, you know what? You guys really, you need to get recognition, So I love DJs anyway. So my point with that was, here's this guy. His name is EBS. I know he rocked with Cypress Hills. He was their DJ for a minute. Mm-hmm. I caught him on Facebook a few times, just playing, doing his hip hop set. And then people started telling me about him a little bit here and there. So eventually, we hooked up. We talked a little bit. He's a big freestyle head. He originally started playing freestyle, and his skills are ridiculous. So he sold me on his skills alone. And then I scratched my head. I'm like, wait, no female is really rocking with a DJ on stage.
Right.
I like to improvise. I like to, like hip hop and more the rappers do. They freestyle, no pun intended. They throw a rap in out of nowhere. They'll rap about a tree. They'll rap about the girl with with the big boobs, whatever. So I like to take a.
That's a good topic.
So, I like to do that. So with me, I said, let me just grab a DJ, and then our chemistry is on point. And not that I'm a rapper, but let's just incorporate in the middle of my show, have him scratch in some songs that I love, that have nothing to do with my show, mm-hmm. And the crowd knows. And that's what we've been doing, and we've been getting over, because it's like a big party on stage. Well, and I want people to feel like they go to a show and they don't just see two dancers and girls singing off a track.
Right.
Right. I did that before. I've been doing it for 25 years. Why not try to step out of my box and, step out of the box and try something different, something that's going to make me a little bit uncomfortable, that's going to open up going to make my blood boil and make my, just open my brain, because after a while you feel like you need a little bit of stimulation after doing the same thing over and over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, now when you're accepting bookings and stuff, and you're going through the rider of everything that's required, do you have any promoters that are like, what are you doing, a DJ? What?
Well, some promoters, like when I did the West Coast, they were like, you have a DJ? Oh, and then I did San Jose, and mm-hmm. I'm going to show you a clip of it. I had two DJs.
I did see that. Yeah.
So they dropped their jaws. I'm like, this is not that difficult. They're gonna hook everything up. Don't worry about it. They were just, why you have two DJs? You didn't tell me that. And I'm like, it's gonna be fine. So they're used to everybody just going there with a thumb drive and with dancers and then keep it moving. I like to shake things up a little bit. It's just in my blood. It's in my blood to shake things up so you can stay on your toes. I think that once you start feeling you're just bored. I'm like a gypsy, and I have to chill, because even in my house, I don't have a mansion, but I get bored, and I want to pick up and move to a different house every 5 years. And I can't uproot my kids every 5 years. It's not cool,
right?
And that's it. It goes to show how my mind works. And that's how I feel about my stage performance. You have to keep it fresh, so people don't anticipate your next move. So bringing in a DJ, to me, it's refreshing, and we're still tweaking, the act, but I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time.
Well, it's definitely from everything I've seen, because I've seen a few clips of different performances you've done back east, as well as the short clip from the show in San Jose. It looks like it's in full effect, and it's on the right course.
Thank you. I mean, Eddie B is a great talent. He's a hothead. I'm a hothead. And the energy on stage, it's what needs to be, and we respect each other when we're on that stage. And he's like me, like we just want to make sure that we rock the crowd. And that's where our mind is. Our zone is to make sure that people remember the show and they have a great time and they have great things to say about it. Mm-hmm. It's a work in progress. There's so many things that I would like to add to my show, but unfortunately I don't have the budget to do so.
Right.
But, it would be nice to have my dancers on there with the DJ and props that but, they don't really, when it comes to promotion and them flying in dancers and doing all that, it's just another ball game. I don't even want to get into that aspect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once flights come into it, then the budget like triples.
Yeah. So I can't really go do my show the way I want to do my show, with the dancers and the DJs, and then he cuts in a record and they do a crazy 16 count. I live for stuff like that because we live once,
right?
And people want entertainment.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Listen record. You mentioned that it's a picture cover. By the way, outstanding layout for the cover art. I love it.
Thank you.
Why now the whole Listen project first came around about 10 years ago, I believe.
Right.
Why did it just not go through the way it should have?
Well, the promotion wasn't there. We just put the record out through another label, and it was never properly promoted. Social media really didn't exist back then. Now with social media, we can promote our product a little bit better without a label. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the same effect of having a label that's really behind you, but at least if you have social media, it's better than a label putting out your record and doing nothing with it. So
right.
That's what happened. They put out the record and they never really promoted it. We just let it rock and say, you know what, let's move on. And I went my way, Cynthia went her way. She continued to do her shows. I continued to do my shows. But after time, I kept just revisiting the track because Carlos Berrios originally did the track, and I still work a lot with him. So it popped up a couple of times when I went to his place to record. And then I sat there and I'm like, you know what? Why don't we release this until I release my second single after Ryze? Because this is not my second record after Ryze.
Right.
This is just something to follow through until I release my next follow-up. So as we did it, and we got Albert to do a version, Carlos remastered his, he cleaned up the vocal, and we listened to everything. We were like, okay, this sounds a lot better, because it was supposed to just be a record just put out there to carry me over until I finished recording my second follow-up. Mm-hmm. And it just turned into something more than what it was, and we decided to do a video. And people took to it, and, when we did the vinyl, and we were like, you know what, let's just do this for the fans and the DJs, and the cover, I think, is beautiful, vibrant colors. So I said, you know what, let's just work it. Let's work it and enjoy it, and see what the fans think. Not everybody's going to love it. You're going to have your critics. Not everybody loves everything. But I think for now, and it's all good. So I think it's doing its job. It's doing its job, and it's a fun record. That's what it is. It's all it is. It's not supposed to be a crazy club banger. It's not supposed to change the world. It's not supposed to do any of that. It's just a record to have fun for the summer,
right,
and keep it moving.
Right.
You can't read too much into anything. And that's when I did Ryze, it was the same attitude I had. I said, I want to put out a positive message, positive video, and see, not everybody's going to love it, So
what is it that you think about the team of yourself and Carlos that seems like to just make such, solid product? I mean, what is it that that brings out the creativity in you, and what is it that brings out the creativity in him when you guys are together?
Well, the funny part is that I've known Carlos since I was 18 years old, and the chemistry that we have together. He's a perfectionist, and he has a sharp ear. And I came in with no training, no vocal training. I had no clue what was sharp, what was off, what key I was singing in. All I knew to do was sing with emotion. And he took that part of me, and he just pretty much produced my vocal throughout that whole journey from my first album, guiding me because I had no idea what keys and falling off pitch really meant. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think ideally his strong beats and my vocal and passion is what makes the magic work. You know, his music and his beats are undeniable. And my vocals, they tend to work great with that. You know, so that's a combination that sometimes you either find it and you're lucky, but it's not something that you can go searching for and are lucky to get. You know, not everybody has that chemistry.
No doubt.
So,
no doubt.
yeah. So he's a person that, you know, the only thing is that me and him fight. We fight like cat and dog all the time. You know,
It's going to happen.
Fighting. Yes, we always fight because I think he's extremely slow, but in a good way because he makes sure that his music is quality. And I don't have too much patience, and I'm very antsy, and I get bored, like I told you before, quickly, and I want to move on. And with him, I have to chill because I know he likes to navigate slowly, but in a good way.
Well, so, I'll tell you one thing, and this speaks to his character. You know, I ordered a copy of the Running Redo record that he put together, and when I made the order, he apparently was out of town, maybe on vacation or something. So it kind of slowed down the shipping. And when it finally came, there was actually 2 copies of it in there with a note from him that said, "I apologize for the delay. To make up for it, here's an extra copy." And I was like, "Wow, that's dope right there." So,
wow.
You know, I mean,
yeah, he's good like that. I
yeah.
mean, he's a sensitive, down to earth, you know, real dude. You know, we just but we, you know, we fight a lot.
Right.
You know, and after so many years, you know, I'll tell him the truth, and he tells me his truth, and you know, and we don't agree all the time, and it's fine, you know. But to be honest, when we work, and I always tell him, and he says that I'm cocky. Nobody's gonna sing his records better than I.
Well, I mean,
did I say that out loud?
Hey, you know, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you know, you're not saying something that's not been proven.
It's just there, you know, and nobody's gonna produce better music, you know, than him. You know, I'll have dope mixes and remixes. That goes without saying, but his quality is undeniable, you know, and the way I deliver with his tracks is completely out of this world, you know, and I don't mean to toot my own horn. I just mean that chemistry that we have together is undeniable, you know, and it's a shame that we don't put out enough music, you know, and I'm on him for that. But you'll be hearing some stuff soon.
I definitely can count on that, and you know, you definitely can count on it getting played out here on this show. So before I let you go, a couple more things I have to ask. So how is Cynthia doing? I saw she like busted up her arm or something.
Yes, I think she fell coming out of her pool or something, and she broke her elbow. So she went. Well, she's actually on a cruise right now. So apparently she's healing well.
Right. Apparently.
And then she gets back Saturday, and we have a show Sunday together.
Okay.
So she's a trooper. She's doing her thing. She works a lot, and I don't know how she does it, but she's doing her thing, and she's recuperating nicely. So thank God for that.
That's what's up right there. So now the Listen record, I Can't Change Your Mind. If people want to purchase this, whether it be digital or the vinyl, how do they go about doing that?
Well, you can find it on all digital outlets. You can stream it on Spotify. You can also, if you're interested in purchasing a CD or vinyl, you can go on my fan page, Lisette Melendez fan page, and it's available on the marketplace. You can purchase it there. My website is being, it should be ready maybe by Tuesday. It's under construction right now because I had to tweak my bio and add some different things in there. So I wanted to keep it simple for the fans that want to purchase they don't have to navigate too much. So I wanted to keep it real simple for, people like me that don't have the attention span and get lost in a website. That's me. So I'm catering it to people that just want everything simple. So for now, you can just find it on Lisette Melendez fan page, or you can hit up Rex3 Entertainment. His number is also on my Facebook. If you look at that, and he has PayPal. He has a way of sending you the vinyl as well, which I had a few people go directly through him. The only thing is that I know that you ordered some copies too, but I had to wait for Cynthia to come into town, which she'll be here Saturday, so we can both sign autographs and send them out.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to send out the vinyl without any autographs.
Yeah, there was apparently Facebook has a time limit thing, and a little bit of time elapsed, so they canceled the first order, but the second order should still be active. And as I was telling Rex, I'm going to make the second order very soon to make sure I have 4 copies, because I got to have 4. You got to have two to use and 2 to, put on the shelf.
Did I give you a T-shirt? Did I send you a T-shirt?
Yes, I have one of those.
Which one did I send you?
The white one with the image on it.
Okay, I'll send you. What size are you again?
I'm fat man size, XL.
Okay, so I'll send you another one because I'm making some. I have to pick up another order. So I'll send you a T-shirt as well because I know I sent you one before, and you've been supporting me for X amount of years. So
very long time.
Shout out to all you DJs, all the DJs. I tell you, I never realized, and because I was always with major labels that did everything for me. So I was always performing and taking care of other things. But when I got wrapped up in putting out my own label, and I really had to sit there and just watch what every DJ was responding and replying to and sending me emails, and the support was overwhelming. And I don't feel that DJs get enough credit. And that's why I'm always giving it up for DJs, because without DJs, my music is not going to get heard. And I thank you. I really do.
You're more than welcome. We thank you for the numerous years of quality records and whatnot. And I still have like 1,000,001 questions, but I'll save them for the next time.
You can ask me anything. We have a few minutes, right? Any interesting, anything. I'll answer any question you want me to answer.
You'll answer anything. See, that's a slippery slope. I don't know if you want to open up that can.
Because whatever. Catch me while I'm asking you to ask me.
Okay. Are there any of your songs that you are just completely tired of singing?
Not really, to be honest. Because when I first started, I was so wrapped up in coming out from the Spanish Harlem neighborhood that it took me by storm, like by surprise. I put out Make Noise. Make Noise was in 1988. It wasn't a big record, but it was a club banger in New York. And it had that James Brown, all that hip hop stuff that I love.
Right.
But that was just basically New York. So it took me like 2-3 years to find a record that really hit. I had a record that was out, and I was only featured on it. It was called If You Truly Love Me, and I have a whole bunch of DJs sending me some hot mixes to this record. Which maybe I have to send you something I just heard on that. But anyway, long story short, when I came out and I started performing, I was just so overwhelmed with everything that I never had a chance to really sit back and smell the roses, So I don't take anything for granted. I'm not tired of any of my songs. What I do get tired of is the show. I get tired of doing the same show. So that's why I like to change it up a little bit, whether it's having a DJ, whether it's having 4 dancers on one show, or having 2 dancers, or having 2 girls, or then just flipping it, having 2 guys, because that tends to be a little boring for me after 20-something years of doing the same song, that you need to make it a little bit more current for people that go with their kids. Now their kids are 18, 19 years old.
Right.
So you have to keep it a little bit fresh as well. But as far as me singing my songs, no, I don't get tired of them. The only thing I get tired is the same show.
Okay. What's the worst part of what you do?
phony people, the bull crap. The no support, the people just, everybody's just scratching and clawing to get shows, and they don't care who they step on, and they'll do it by whatever means necessary. And I'm on the flip side of that. I'm like, let's unite, let's get together, and that didn't pan out too well for me. But I am still trying. I still believe in unity. I believe that together we can make a difference. But unfortunately, it's not only this genre; it's many. It's just in the movie industry, in the in music, in hip hop, and everything. But I think in freestyle, there's so much more that we can do, but we have to do it together. And I don't feel that that's going to happen if we don't do it together. It's just too much animosity going on right now. Behind the scenes, to me, I think it's overwhelming to the point that I just want to close shop and not do it. But I do it for the fans.
Right,
like I said,
right.
From the beginning. I don't do it for anyone else. I do it for the fans. The fans don't need to know that. There's got to come a point that they're going to know, but not like this. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Well,
they'll do it for themselves.
Yeah, that's what the DJs do. We're the ones that throw people under the bus. So I got no problem pulling somebody's card.
But you pretty much see what's going on.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Have an idea.
Absolutely.
People don't have to like your record. Not every DJ has to like it. But don't play like you have to bow down to anyone in particular. You have to be cordial and you have to be business. And that's the way it should be. And you got to inspire people.
So some DJs focus on playing the music, others focus on pretending to play the music and would rather be a solid gold dancer in their videos. And I'll just leave that comment at that.
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception about Lisette Melendez?
That I'm stuck up, probably. I'm misunderstood in many ways. And that's because I shelter myself because of my upbringing. I had no choice, but I had to protect myself coming up because I came up just basically tomboyish, fighting for myself, and that's no excuse. That when I came into the scene, people thought I came out of nowhere with Together Forever, and that's a lie because I was in the scene for 5-6 years before that record blew up. I used to go watch, TK. K. I know K before he was even a thought. Trying to be K7 or TK. We all come from the same neighborhood, and I used to watch everybody perform before I had my first opportunity. So I'm misunderstood because I'm very I'm aggressive because I don't like anybody messing with me. And people have to know, as a female, you have to fend for yourself and you have to toughen up. But it's to the point that I've always been misunderstood. And it's not because I'm better than anyone. It's because I feel like I've always had to protect myself, and I worked hard for what I have. That's it, And it's not that I'm better, and I'm not trying to compete. My only competition is me. How am I gonna top myself today? How am I gonna become a better person? That's my only competition. That's it. But I think I'm misunderstood in more than one way. But after all these years, they don't get it. They don't. My peers, they don't. Some of them get it, some of them don't.
I mean, like you said, after all these years, if they don't, oh well. Nothing more you can do.
Yeah, you have to move on. That's one thing I'm not. I'm not a phony girl. I'm not phony. I don't have poker face. If I'm in a crowd and I'm not feeding somebody, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it in my face. You're gonna see it. That's just I'm even told, they're like, you're in the wrong business. Sometimes I feel I'm in the wrong business. That's why sometimes I want to be in the back end and just sit in the background and let somebody else and pass the baton, because this is all, to me, nonsense. For people to act the way they act after we're grown ass people to be acting the way we are. We're not teenagers. You look at Facebook and you look at all the embellishments that for these stories. It's depressing because they make an average person look like they're average, because they embellish their stories. So, it's just crazy, the world that we live in, So I just want to do music. I want to put out quality. And if you don't have anything nice to say, fine. I can't control what people have to say, but sometimes you have to think about what you say before you say it.
Absolutely, and I think that's a perfect segue into the current record you got out. I Can't Change Your Mind. If you're gonna believe it, cool. If not, you can't change their mind.
That's right.
So I want to thank you for taking the time to call in tonight. Once again, all your social media. If people want to catch up with you, I believe on Instagram it's Lisette_Melendez. On Facebook, Lisette Melendez fan page, and you don't really do too much twittering, right?
I have to activate my account. I haven't tweeted in a while because I can't find my password. Did I say that out loud? I can't find my password, and that's what happened to me with IG. I would have had so many followers, but I lost my password for my current account, and I had to start a new account. So
okay.
Bear with me, people. Yes, I'm on Twitter. I am going to look for my password tonight because I've had several DJs ask me the same question.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get on my Twitter. Yes, I do.
And
listen, I have ladybugrecords.com.
Right.
It's under construction. We're hoping to have it up and running by the middle of next week or next weekend, the latest. And there you're going to be able to see all my shows. You can purchase my merchandise. You're going to see candid pictures. You're going to see all kind of pictures. And you can check that out as well, ladybugrecords.com. I have my label, Ladybug Records. Also, if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, would be great also, because I have a whole bunch of footage that I just was able to transfer from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to upload that on my on my YouTube page. So I encourage people to start signing on to my YouTube, because I'm going to leave Facebook. I'm going to start not abandoning Facebook, but I'm going to start just building my YouTube followers a little bit more, and I'm going to gravitate to my website just a tad more, because I think Facebook is getting a little bit too cluttered. So these are just different outlets for people to start following me. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, people.
And we look forward to the Lisette Melendez Daily Show.
Listen, I have so many things that I want to do, but you don't understand. It's just I have to structure myself because I lose focus. Why? Because I get bored. That's my main issue. My main issue is that I don't have patience and I get bored. I'm a work in progress. That's all. And they say artists that have a lot going on in their mind, they need to structure themselves.
Exactly. I think everyone on the planet is a work in progress, whether they admit it or deny it.
That's right. Big time. We can't be in denial, people. There's a lot going on in life that we have to just structure. And listen, you can do it if you focus. It doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
Be realistic, but just focus on what you need to do. Don't let the haters try to, knock you down. Not everybody's going to love you, and that's a part of life, But let's move forward.
That's
do what
it.
you got to do.
That's it right there. All right, let's just jump into it. This is Lisette Melendez and Cynthia, a.k.a. Listen. This is I Can't Change Your Mind. It's right here. It's 90.9 FM, KHTC.